Hello all. So I saw this video while scrolling through the YouTubes and I figured I would put my, 2, 3 cents into this. Anywho, um, Digital Foundry had a video talking about will the PS5 shorten its lifespan. I honestly don't think that's going to be the case. It's really crazy when you think about it. Typical console lifetime cycles, at least I would say pre PS3 360 era, was about 5 years. So what PS2 was about was it 2000 to 2006, about 6 years or so. But at least you heard about it within 5 years. Anywho, um, that's no longer the case, and we've had some of the longest, some of the longest times or whatever when it came to this type of stuff. When it came to console generations here. Oh, in the 360 PS3 era, you had it, I think, from '05 to like 2013. And then the previous era, you had it from, well, technically it's still sort of going out, but you had it from 2013 to 2020. So about 7 years. I do think this is going to be longer than 7 years, just because when you take into effect, once account, that basically there was the pandemic. A lot of people haven't upgraded, and even still to this day, a lot of people haven't upgraded, at least on the PlayStation side. There's still like 50%, 48% something of PS4 users as opposed to, the PS5 users that have not upgraded. Um, I think that it's going to last longer. Um, Another reason why I think it's going to last longer is because they don't have proper sales on consoles. Xbox has some affordable option with the Series S, but even then they bumped it up by $50, even though they gave you more storage space. To me, it's still the perception. A lot of people aren't going to really jump on or be hesitant to jump on if the prices won't go down. And now we're 4 years into this. By now, this should have went down in terms of the price. So I do think they'll keep it longer because of those reasons. Also, I mean, hell, there's not even a lot of first party games. I mean, heck, if it's exclusive now, there's not like a lot of first party games for you to really be like, hey, I felt like I got the most out of the system. At least I think that's what people are starting to think now. Development time takes longer now, and honestly, it just seems like the more advanced we get with the consoles, the longer it's going to take to develop games. And we may be at the point that you get one sequel per console. So, Last of Us Part 3, that's all you're going to get is on one. You're not going to get a second part or anything, even though I guess that kind of was done with the PS3 and then the PS4. But, my point being is that, like, these games that we've gotten sequels to before, at least two within a generation, doesn't really seem to be that anymore. And I do think that that's kind of the reason why they'll have this generation last longer. Because I don't think that, Sony's big on, they're big on like exclusives or at least some sort of Sony studio game. And they haven't had many. And just period, I don't think they're really gonna, they're releasing PS5 Pro for what, this year or whatever. So that just doesn't make too much sense, at least to me, to release an entirely new console or at least make the console thing shorter, the lifetime shorter. Because I mean, we're talking about letting it get shorter, then we're what, like about 3 years away. So, but yeah, we're about 3 years away. 7 years was the typical console cycle before this. So you want to make it shorter. That means you need to start releasing this stuff pretty soon, like as in within a year. And I just don't see either console doing this right here. And then you see Xbox with a new Amazon little deal, and how they're getting more into streaming stuff with the Game Pass and X, Y, and Z. I just don't see it happening. Um, they really do need to decrease these prices, man. Like I understand that I understand that they don't want to really lose money, but you're not going to have people come in. You're going to always have resistance with that 48, 50% of PS4 users. that don't want to come over, because I would think two reasons. One is really the price. If you haven't decreased the price, because a lot of people during this time will buy their Slim iteration. When they had the PS4 Slim, they went down in price. It cheaper makes, more people get into it. And we don't have that case now. And yeah, I just don't think it's gonna I don't think it's gonna I don't think it's gonna be shorter. In fact, I think it's gonna be longer. And then not to mention the other reason would be that the PS4, the Xbox One, they don't necessarily look bad. You still have cross-generation games. I mean, it's not much. Well, I mean, I guess it's a few, but I would say on the Xbox One side, I don't hear about many new games coming out for that. But just the fact that the console still, the games don't look bad. They might not perform the best, but they don't look bad. And if they don't look bad, an average consumer is going to be like, hey, what's the point of me spending all this money? Yeah, this system's better, but this system's $500. And what I have here, I bought for $200 back in whatever. And it still looks good to me. And they're still releasing new shit, and I can just, get the games I want or whatever. So honestly, I think when they finally remove the cross-generation games, I mean, it'll force people to go over to the newer systems. But they just, yeah, man, if I was them, I wouldn't be thinking about any sort of new generation, man. Neither console has really done too much this generation. In fact, it just kind of feels like the generation is just starting. We went through 3 years of people scalping games, of it being hard to find and stuff like that right there. So it just would be a little weird to me, honestly. I don't think the generation didn't really start until there was a decent amount of supply. You can go and buy a system. And yeah, I just don't see it happening, man. Hopefully these companies, Microsoft and PlayStation and stuff, they start to kind of show not even the power, just something different, man. Now I know Microsoft has had they've had their little showcase, and that's nice. It looks great. I more so can't wait till this stuff comes out. It will be like there's no really a real incentive to come over to the next gen when there's not anything really on the next gen. I will just say at least Hellblade is a good example. Hellblade 2 is a good example of why somebody would want to come over. Because that looks drastically different than the Hellblade 1 or than any Xbox One game or than any PS4 game. It's something that makes you say, this can only be done on this system or PC or whatever it is. It's something that can only be done on this hardware here. And I have to go out to buy it because it's not possible on what I have now. And they don't really have that, man. So, like others say, to me, in my opinion, I mean, I thought the previous gen wasn't the best. This gen right here really sucks, dude. This gen right here, we charge people more money. With our slim iterations, we charge people more money. Or it just doesn't feel like you get the value you need. Now, the best thing about this gen, though, is the subscriptions. The subscription service. I'm not big on subscriptions, but it's a great thing. It's cheap, and it's a nice way for you to get into playing games, especially if you just got the console. I wish almost it was like that for my generation when I got to playing games, but it is what it is. But I guess those are my reasons of why I think the gen isn't going to be shorter. That to me, that's just such an idiotic move to make the gen shorter. If they want to get towards making the gen shorter, they need to really, I would say, focus more on producing things and getting stuff out. And I know people have said double A's and stuff like that right there. I just want it to be that Sony and even Microsoft, you just release interesting IPs. I mean, if it sucks, I mean, at least you tried something. Like people don't like to order 1886, and I mean, I get it, but it was one of the most interesting looking games that I've seen as far as just not just the visuals, just just how it looked, how the scene of the game. And even if it didn't have the graphics, it was still more than interesting enough. I mean, what about a new superhero game? We haven't had Infamous in a long time. That's all I'm saying, man. It just needs to be something. It just needs to be more unique experiences, man. And it doesn't really seem like that. Xbox seems to kind of be getting into their groove. I honestly can't wait to see Perfect Dark, or see more of it. But it just it's just more of the same sort of. And this has been things that have been talked about like forever. That it's kind of more of the same kind of stuff. And hell, make it double A, but just give me an interesting IP. Just give me something new. Just give me something new. Give me something new. That's just something that's brand new.